Happy Tuesday morning to everybody. Welcome into the morning live. Thank you all so much for stopping in, for popping by. Those of you who are here for the first time, a very special welcome to you. Those of you who have been rocking with me for a while, I want to say thanks to you. I sincerely appreciate you and appreciate your presence on my channel. Thank you all so much. Those of you who have been rocking with me on the talk and those of you who have been rocking with me on the tube, I sincerely appreciate you all. Okay, so this morning we are going to resume our Bible reading. If you are new here and you are not aware of what we do here first thing every morning, let me bring you up to speed. Yeah, because I don't want to leave anybody behind, you know. I want to bring everybody up to speed. So when I gather here, when I come here each morning and you all come to join me, what we do here is we read the Bible. Now, there is no religious connection. I am not affiliated with any particular religion or denomination for that matter. When I come here in the morning to read the Bible, it is me trying to fulfill a desire to know what is in the Bible. So if you like to be in a space where there is no condemnation, there is no attempt to convict anybody, I see God roll up in the place wondering what in the world is my sister doing up so early. Early to bed, early to rise. Make a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I'm wondering what's happening to me all this time. Been going to bed early and been raised and being awake early. I guess because I'm not a man. But anyway, good morning, sis. How are you doing? So good to see you. Happy Tuesday morning to you as well. And to everybody else who is on the live. Happy Tuesday morning to you all. Those of you over there on the talk, and those of you on the tube. On the tube, please don't forget to hit that like button. And on the talk, we appreciate you tapping your screen. I appreciate you. All right, but there is no compulsion. There's nobody forcing you. There's nobody with a whip over your head to say you must. But if you find it within your heart to tap the screen, go ahead. All right. So we are back. I am back from vacation and we are going to pick up where we left off. I have a desire to read the Bible, to know what is in the Bible, because after all my life, when I say if Leonard is cheating on you, I say yes, he is. I say, Ronnie Rose says, I should tell her if Leonard is cheating on her. Yes, he is cheating on you this very minute. Even if he is with you, beside you right now, he cheating on you. Trust me. Oh, Lord, look at my brother Tuba Chat. Tuba Chat is in the place. Tuba Chat, what's up? How are you doing? Guys, those of you who are here, if you don't know Tuba Chat, no need for go find Tuba Chat. Especially you all over the talk who are trying to, grow your channel over there on the tube. Yeah, if you go over there, that's a good place to go. Go find Tuba Chat. All right, I say no more. How are you doing, my love? Good to see you. Happy Tuesday morning to you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks to everybody else who is here. I appreciate you all. Thank you for coming. I guess this Roni person does not know. I don't do any kind of predictions. I I don't do any kind of predictions, so I can't tell anybody what is in the future, because if I knew what was in my future today, I'd be a different person. There are many mistakes I would not have made, many things I would not have done had I known what was in my future. So, so I'm in absolutely no position to tell anybody what is in their future. But if you feel that Leonard is cheating on you, I believe he is. All right, so you take steps to take care of that or settle it, whichever is your choice. But guys, since we are back, we are going to continue with the reading of the Bible. Yes, we are. I am curious. I want to know the contents of this book, because from birth I have been told, follow the Bible say, whatever the Bible said that is the right thing. That's what you need to follow. That's what you need to do. At one point, I got baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Um, at another point, I got what they call disfellowshipped because I was doing things and I wasn't married, and so I was, you all know, know what I mean. And at another point, at this point in my life, I've decided, you know what, I need to figure out what this is, what it is that I am following and investing in, So I've decided that the Bible, which has been given to me as my moral guide, I need to know exactly what is in it. So the perfect slave is here. How are you doing, my love? Good to see you. Thank you so much for popping in, popping out, and popping off. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah. Why y'all don't know how to behave yourselves? I don't know if you behave on yourself. I'm getting ready to read the Bible, But y'all just misbehave at all turns. Ah, I ain't gonna join y'all this morning, because this morning I'm going to heaven. I'm not going to hell with y'all. The perfect one said the version of so-called religion are from the British, correct? The version of so-called religion are from the British, correct? Say that again. Watch TikTok sick now. TikTok sick. Me notice you keep on peeping in at me. You keep on peeping in at me these days, and you ain't saying a word. But me more if you know, so me see you. The perfect slave says in Jamaica. Well, the colonizers' religion was introduced to Jamaicans. I mean, many, many, many years ago. Um, it is still being practiced, and our ancient religions that came with us from Africa, those religions are being frowned upon, because everything that the British presented to us, that the colonialists presented to us in Jamaica, we have taken it for gospel, and we have discarded everything that we knew originally. So that's how it is. It comes with the territory, and many of us were not smart enough to recognize what was going on. So the majority of us jumped on that bandwagon, and it says from Africa, the Maroons are not from Africa. I said absolutely nothing about Maroons. I'm not sure. I'm accommodating you, but I'm not sure where we're going with this. The perfect slave. I'm not sure where we're going with this. So I'm gonna stay on my track. Yeah, and we can roll alongside each other. Yeah. But anyway, as I was saying, um, colonialists have introduced various different social norms to us in Jamaica, and we have accepted it over the years. We have been under their rule, and so religion is no different. They presented us with the Bible. They said whatever is in the Bible, that's what we need to follow, and we have been following it. And we realize that we can't even follow what is in the Bible because we have not spent time to read it for ourselves. So we just go along to get along. We have been told that our hair is nappy and ugly, and our hair, who wants this kind of hair? And so we have been introduced to um, perms and wigs and all these things that is supposed to hide our natural hair. Or some people have gotten rid of their natural hair altogether because they have been coerced into believing that their natural hair is so nappy and so ugly. And lots of people have taken on to that, and felt inadequate within themselves, that their hair is not acceptable. They have made it where our hair and our hairstyles are frowned upon in the workplace. So because we want to work, we change our hairstyle, we put in wigs and weaves. Then they start to tell us that our complexion is not acceptable. How dare you be so black? Yeah, yeah. And with that, we have taken it to heart and we have used all kinds of bleach and oh my God, we have mutilated ourselves to such a degree where nowadays you can see somebody was one complexion at 12 years old, and when you see them at 22, you can't recognize them. Seven, what's up? Seven say a while ago, Obi took a bunch of sleeping pills and then drank alcohol, and now I'm feeling dizzy. Seven, that was by choice. If you choose to do destructive things in your life, you have to face the consequences. All right, that's all I'm gonna say about that. But the perfect one says, even with our surnames, exactly. Even with our surnames, you know that back then when there was slavery, the slave masters were mostly British people who were sent from Britain to come to Jamaica and and colonize Jamaica, and the British men who came and owned slaves, the slaves were named off of that British man's last name. My 4444 parents were named Dawson, which is also a British name, and that history also stands. So nobody knows what was their name. Johnny B, what's up? Nobody really knows what was their name coming out of Africa. We just go by the name that we were given and just keep moving with it. What can we do? What can we do at this point? But with that, enough of that British of the British colonization. Now we are moving in law school, found out the British own the trademark of surname. Okay, so the perfect slave book, the perfect slave says in law school he found out that the British owned a trademark of surnames. Oh, that's interesting because I didn't know that. I didn't know it was sort of an ownership of trademark of surnames. I thought it was just that, whatever plot of slave land they owned, the people who worked that land was given last name of the owner so that they could easily identify the people who worked for whom. But I'm not surprised. I'm definitely not surprised. There is so many things that's hidden in so many things that we need to know that we do not know, and the only way we can become abreast of those things is if we bury our heads in a book and read. And that is why I have chosen to bury my head in the book that's called the Bible, because I want to see what is in it. And so far we have come across quite a bit of not just controversy, but quite a bit of information that makes us want to stop and think about what is this that's been presented to us. Perfect says all federal taxes go to the Pope and British Crown as tribute payment. Huh? No, you taking me. Listen, perfect slave. You are taking me into a different realm this morning, a realm that I was not prepared to go into this morning. Um, oh my gosh, OMG. I I mean, I was not aware of that. I haven't studied law, so I had absolutely no clue, my friend. But I appreciate your contribution. I appreciate it. Anything that stimulates me to go and read some more and to get new information is always welcoming for me. Always. This morning, I appreciate you for stopping in and sharing. Hold on there. And sharing your knowledge with in all nations this still occurs. Really? I didn't know they still have those usury laws that were, those were like the usury laws that Bible spoke about, right? Interesting, huh? But we're not getting into that this morning. I'm not gonna get into it this morning because I think if I start getting into that this morning, I am not going to get into what really into getting into this morning. If you all know what I mean. But I gotta check you out. The Perfect Slave book says to check out his page. All right, I will check out your page because I gotta learn some more about that. I appreciate you. All right. And with that, guys, we are going to move right along into the business of what we are here for this morning. We are here to continue with the reading. You are so welcome, the Perfect Slave. I appreciate it. This morning, guys, we are here to continue with the reading of the Bible, to familiarize ourselves with what is written in the Bible, so that when we speak of the Bible and its contents, we speak from a place of knowledge and not from a place of ignorance, and not from a place of just hand me down information where your grandmother told you it was in the Bible, your mother told you it was in the Bible, but you had never read the Bible for yourself. So you just get up and assume that yes, because your mama said it and your grandmama said it's in the Bible, and your pastor said it, then of course yes, it has got to be in the Bible. And you have absolutely no context of what the statement was about. You have never gone to read it for yourself. Yes, I'm reading the King James Version, my love. You have never gone to read it for yourself, but you are running with it. You are condemning, you are convicting all kinds of people. Have you ever seen a Prince? Have you ever seen a Prince James Bible? Ah, boy. Yeah, so my intent, guys, is to read the Bible for myself, to get myself abreast of the contents of the Bible, and to follow it with context so that I can understand who spoke, to whom were they speaking, and under what circumstances were certain utterances made. So that's why I've decided to read the Bible from the beginning to the end. And me reading it from the beginning to the end does not mean the end all of how I feel about religion. It simply means that at this point, after having read from Genesis, now we are at the book of the Acts, I can hold my own and have a conversation about the Bible with no intent of convicting or condemning anybody, and worse, not converting anybody. Okay, because they say the Bible is confusing. They say nobody can understand the Bible. You need to pray before you read the Bible so you can understand it. And all of this jargon that people come around with just to either convince you that you need to read the Bible or to condemn you because they don't think you read it the way they think you are supposed to read it. So they am heathen, I don't believe in God. I don't care what you say. I don't care. This is my life, and this is what I have chosen to do, to read the Bible for myself, to know what is in it. I am not joining nobody on their bandwagon to endorse any religion or any denomination. One particular reason for that, look how many denominations exist. And they're all using the same Bible. Yet they cannot agree. Everybody using the same Bible, but everybody have their own doctrine. And then you want to tell me I'm heathen. Then you want to tell me that I'm blaspheming. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. All right. Yeah. So many denominations. Everybody using the same Bible. And everybody claim to believe the same Bible, and amongst yourselves, you all tell each other, you wrong, because you know worship on Sunday. You wrong, because you know worship on Saturday. You wrong, you wrong. You baptize in the name of Jesus. You baptize in the name of this. You know you wrong, because while there be so many versions of the same religion, if you all consider yourselves to be right and true, okay. I am not here to be considered neither right nor true. All I am doing is reading this book like I've never been told about it before. Genesis or Genesis or Book of Genetics is a parable of childbirth from conception to birth, and the hybrid Germanic tribes of Europe rule there as here in the United States. You cannot depend on different role, you know, my friend. You cannot depend on one different role, a role that I cannot roll on with you, because the information that you are presenting, I haven't been able to, I don't know those information. I don't know anything about that. So I haven't been able to peruse it and come up with my own determination as to what it is talking about. So I really can't speak to it. But anywho, we are going to be reading this morning from the book of the Acts chapters 23, 24, and 25. So if you have your book Bible, Google Bible, whichever Bible you have, you come along, read along with us. Make your own notes as we read along, so that you can be aware of what is in this good book here. Okay? So, without further ado, we are going to move right along into today's reading. All right? The Acts chapter 23 says, "And Paul, earnestly beholding the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before God until this day." Now remember, this Paul was Saul. He was the one who was working for the Jews in Jerusalem, the Jews who had not accepted the gospel of Jesus. They were the ones who were persecuting the people who had accepted the gospel of Jesus, and he was their head cook and bottle washer in the judge, jury, and executioner department. So he was the one they would send out with the army of men to go seek out the people who had accepted Jesus' gospel, and he was charged with slaying them or imprisoning them or whatever punishment he saw fit for them. And then on his way to Damascus, at one point, he was going on one of his missions. He was struck with blindness, and from there he ended up being converted. So instead of going to destroy the apostles and the people who believed in Jesus, he was converted, and now he became an apostle and was preaching and baptizing and teaching the words of the gospel. This is the same Saul, now his name, talking about. Verse 2 of chapter 23 of the book of the Acts. "And the high priest Ananias commanded them that stood by him to smite him on the mouth." All righty. Let's move on to verse 3. "Then said Paul unto him, God shall smite thee, the whited wall, for sittest thou to judge me after the law, and commandest me to be smitten contrary to the law? And they that stood by said, Revilest thou God's high priest? Then said Paul, I wist not, brethren, that he was the high priest. For it is written, Thou shalt not speak evil of ruler of thy people. Now that was written, that was on one of their ancient laws, that you can't speak poorly of your rulers. Okay? So here Paul is telling them he really did wish that Ananias was not the ruler. After Ananias ordered the people to slap him on the mouth. Verse 6. But when Paul perceived that the one part were Sadducees and the other part were Pharisees, he cried out in the council, Men and brethren, I am a Pharisee, the son of a Pharisee. Of the hope and resurrection of the dead, I am called in question. And when he had said so, there arose a dissension between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the multitude was divided. For the Sadducees say that there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but the Pharisees confess both. So you see, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they are at odds with their belief. Okay? The Sadducees, they don't believe that there was a resurrection. They don't believe that Jesus came back from the dead. They don't believe in that sort of thing. And they don't believe that there are angels and spirits, But on the other hand, the Pharisees, they believed in the resurrection. They believe that there are angels. They believe in spirit. So here, the two parties are at loggerheads. Believing different things. Verse 9. And there arose a great cry, and the scribes that were of the Pharisees' part arose, and strove, saying, We find no evil in this man. But if a spirit or an angel had spoken to him, let us not fight against God. Okay, so here the Pharisees were defending Paul. And when there arose a great dissension, the chief captain, fearing lest should have been pulled in pieces of them, commanded the soldiers to go down and to take him by force from among them, and to bring him into the castle. And the night following, the Lord stood by him and said, Be of good cheer, Paul, for as thou hast testified of me in Jerusalem, so must thou be a witness also at Rome. And when it was daytime, certain of the Jews banded together and bound themselves under a curse, saying that they would neither eat nor drink till they had killed Paul. Want to hear that? So here, the Jews made a pact with each other. Some of them got together, made this little pact, and said, we're not going to eat and we are not going to drink until we have slain Paul. You see, this kind of religious persecution, it does still happen. There are certain people in society who believe that their religion is the all, say all, be all religion. And if you are not part of their religion, you are considered to be an heathen. You are considered to be a whatever they want to call you. They find a kind of... Yeah, those things are not new. 6 balls! Ah! 6 balls, what's up, sis? How you doing? I tell you, 6 balls says, well, that's some serious pact. Yes, it was. This was the pact they made. Empress, what's up? This was the pact they made with each other. It said, verse 12 of the Acts chapter 23. And when it was daytime, certain of the Jews banded together and bound themselves under a curse, saying that they would neither eat nor drink till they had killed Paul. And there were more than 40 which had made this conspiracy. More than 40 which had made this conspiracy. And they came to the chief priests and elders. And they came to the chief priests and elders and said, "We have bound ourselves under a great curse, that we will eat nothing until we have slain Paul." Now therefore he with the council signified to the chief captain that he bring him down Let us continue. Now therefore he with the council signified to the chief captain that he bring him down unto you tomorrow, as though he would inquire something more perfectly concerning him, and we, or ever he come near, are ready to kill him. So here this more than 40 people who have joined this pact to unalive Paul. They have joined in this pact to unalive Paul. Okay, so here they are saying to the chief priest, bring him down. Don't make him know stay we down here. Don't make him know what the plan is. Just bring him down as if it is something concerning, something good that you are bringing him down here for, so that we can lay hands on him and slay him. And verse 16 says, and when Paul's sister's son, that is Paul's nephew, no worry, no, must say, me own little notes, And when Paul's sister's son heard of their lying in wait, yes, he went and entered into the castle and told Paul. So Paul's nephew heard the plot where them tell the chief priest, say, bring him come man, bring him down. Now make him know what I bring him. Just make him believe, say, yeah, bring him down here for something good. But more than 40 of us have made this pact that we need to unalive him. So we are going to be waiting down here to lay our hands on him. But you have to convince him to come. We need you to help to bring him down here to us. But Paul's nephew heard the plot, and so he went and told Paul. We are Lot Nation is in the house. How are you doing, my love? Good to see you. Good to see you. Then Paul called one of the centurions unto him and said, bring this young man unto the chief captain, for he hath a certain thing to tell him. So he took him and brought him to the chief captain, and said, Paul the prisoner called me unto him, and prayed me to bring this young man unto thee, who hath something to say unto thee. Then the chief captain took him by the hand, and went with him aside privately, and asked him, what is it you have to tell me? And he said, the Jews have agreed to desire thee that thou wouldest bring down Paul tomorrow into the council, as though they would inquire somewhat of him more perfectly. But do not thou yield unto them, for there lie in wait for him of them more than 40 men, which have bound themselves with an oath, that they will neither eat nor drink till they have killed him. And now are they ready, looking for a promise from thee. So, wanna hear that? Paul's nephew. That was Paul's nephew telling the chief priest, no bring Paul down there, because even though they told you to bring him down for good reason, it's not. They are plotting. More than 40 of them have made an oath that they're not going to eat nor drink until they have slain him. And they want you to bring him down to the council so that they can lay hands on him. Now let's see what do you think the chief priest is going to say? We don't know. We're going to find out. Right, we unlock? We're going to find out. Let us continue reading. So the chief captain then let the young man depart and charged him, see thou tell no man that thou hast showed these things to me. So he said, listen man, go your way, but not tell nobody. Say you tell me what these Jewish men have planned for your uncle. Right, Andrea? Yes, we unlocked. That was Saul, who later became Paul in the Acts. Yes, it was. Let us continue. So the chief priest tell the young man, go thy way, but don't tell anybody what you have told me. And he called unto him 2 centurions, saying, make ready 200 soldiers to go to Caesarea, and horsemen 70, that's 3 scores and 10, that's 70 horsemen. 3 scores is 3 times 20, that's 60, and 10 makes 70. So he says, and he called unto him 2 centurions, saying, make ready 200 soldiers to go to Caesarea, and horsemen 70, spearmen 200 at the 3rd hour of the night. And provide them with beasts, that they may set Paul on, and bring him safely unto Felix the governor. Hold on. Verse 25. And he wrote a letter after this manner. So he wrote a letter stating what he wanted to happen. So he wrote the letter saying he wanted these 70 horsemen and these 200 additional soldiers, plus all these soldiers, and how he wanted things to go. So he wrote it down so there will be no confusion as to what he wanted. Ugo, how are you doing? Good morning to you. Welcome. All right, so let us continue. In verse 26, Claudius Lysias, unto the most excellent governor, Felix, sends greetings. So this is the letter. It seems like this is a letter that he wrote. So make we start again. Claudius Lysias, unto the most excellent governor, Felix sends greetings. This man was taken of the Jews, and should have been killed of them. Then came I with an army, and rescued him, having understood that he was a Roman. And when I would have known the cause wherefore they accused him, I brought him forth into their council, whom I perceived to be accused of questions of their law, but to have nothing told to his charge, but to have nothing laid to his charge worthy of death or of bonds. And when it was told me how that the Jews lay wait for this man, I sent straightway to thee, and gave commandment to his accusers also, to say before thee what they had against him. Farewell. Then the soldiers, as it was commanded them, took Paul and brought him by night to Antipatris. All right. Let us continue. On the morrow, that's the next day, they left the horsemen to go with him and returned to the castle. Who, when they came to Caesarea and delivered the epistle to the governor, presented Paul also before him. And when the governor had read the letter, he asked of what province he was. And when he understood that he was of Cilicia, I will hear thee, he said, when thine accusers are also come. And he commanded him to be kept in Herod's judgment hall. All right. That's what is happening to Paul at that moment. All right. So he has gone now to this Felix the governor. Now Felix the governor said, well, I'm going to wait until the Jews who have accused him are here as well. Let me hear what they're accusing him of and what, how he plans to defend himself. And then we're going to move right along. So until then, let's just hold him into Herod's judgment hall. All right? That is the end of chapter 23. Honestly, says a story. It's a story that, yeah, man. I want to follow the story. We're moving right on into chapter 24. So if you are just joining us, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. You are at the right place at the right time in the right company where we are doing what we do here every morning, and that is reading the Bible for ourselves with absolutely no connection to any particular religion or denomination. Just an ordinary person here with a curiosity to feed. And I am feeding that curiosity here every morning as I read the Bible. So thank you all for the loves and the likes and the taps. Yes, my people over there on the talk knows how to tap. My people over here on the tube don't know what I don't know. 1 million I could have come here on the day before I hit the like button. I don't know what I do know. I don't know. But I know I'm not doing nothing, so I'm not seeking to find out. But as I tell you, follow no conscience. I hit the like button. Anywho, thank you people on the talk. I appreciate y'all. But let us continue. Let us move right along into chapter 24 of the Acts. Some of you are here. Yeah, get your Bible, man. And while I read, you follow along. Yeah, I mean, no fun like talk the Bible, but you don't want to read it for yourself. Me read it. I'll read it. So yeah, I'll read it for us. So you just follow along. Okay? I want the glory of the Lord. Okay. All right. Nobody can stop you from wanting what you want, my love. Yeah. Why not? Let us move right along. Get your Bible and let us read together. Okay? The Acts chapter 24 says, wait, come here, hold on my head too much. Let me just hold the book like this so that I can read it without my head being down too far, right? And after 5 days, Ananias, the high priest, descended with the elders and with a certain orator named Tertullus. You know why I'm the orator name? Tertullus, who informed the governor against Paul. All right, so whatever them tell the governor said, they were talking against him. So they were saying my bad somebody preach against what they believe in, that kind of thing. And when he was called forth, now this is the Ananias, when he was called forth, Tertullus began to accuse him, saying, seeing that by thee we enjoy great quietness, and that very worthy deeds are done unto this nation by thy providence, we accept it always, and in all places, most noble Felix, with all thankfulness. Triple A, what's up? Let us continue. Notwithstanding that I be not further tedious unto thee, I pray thee that thou wouldest hear us of thy clemency a few words. All right. Them come to Felix, Felix, this them a talk to, Let us continue. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow. A Paul them a talk about, Yeah. This Tertullus, whatever is his name, Tertullius. This Tertullius, he is supposed to be the spokesman for these Jewish men who have taken this oath. These Jewish men who are definitely against Paul. Yeah, so he is talking on behalf of all these people. Him say, for we have found this man to be a pestilent fellow, and a mover of sedition. Yeah, I do like January 6th. Yeah, them accuse him of moving like January 6th. He might try to overthrow. He might try to overthrow the current government, the current religious order. Let us move on. And a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. Remember, say Paul never did Nazarene, you know. But by him accepting Jesus's gospel and preaching it, he has now aligned himself with the Nazarenes. And now he has made lots of enemies for himself. Okay? So here Tertullius is speaking against Paul. Yeah? And saying find Paul to be a pestilent fellow. Yeah? A pestilent fellow, a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes, who also hath gone about to profane the temple, whom we took, and would have judged according to our law. But the chief captain, Lysias, came upon us, and with great violence took him away out of our hands, commanding his accusers to come unto thee, by examining of whom thyself mayest take knowledge of all these things, whereof we accuse him. And the Jews also assented, saying that these things were so. So yesterday all of them agree, say, yeah, I say, yeah, I agree with all that Tertullius has said to thee. We agree. Then Paul, this is verse 10 of chapter 24. Then Paul, after that the governor had beckoned unto him to speak, he answered and said, forasmuch as I know that thou hast been of many years a judge unto this nation, I do the more cheerfully answer for myself, because that thou mayest understand that there are yet but 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem to worship. And they neither found me in the temple disputing with any man, neither raising up the people, neither in the synagogues, nor in the city. So this is Paul's defense. Paul say, at 12 days, I go up to Jerusalem final. I'm not going to the temple. I'm not preach to nobody. I'm not say nothing. But them still come trying to harass and antagonize me. Neither can they prove the things whereof they are now accusing me. Verse 14. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call hearsay, a worship which they call hearsay, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets, and have hope towards God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and the unjust. And herein do I exercise myself to have always a conscience void of offense towards God and towards men. So here Paul is, defending himself and said, there are some things that I preach that they believe in as well. But they are trying their best to antagonize me, accusing me of all these things. They believe too that there is a God. And I'm preaching too that there is a God. So I don't know what them a come up bada me for. What is this all about? I'm just still preaching my love for God and you know, my love towards God. No offense to, but let us continue. Verse 17. Now after many years I came to bring alms to my nation and offerings, whereupon certain Jews from Asia found me purified in the temple, neither with multitude nor with tumult, who ought to have been here before thee, and object if they had aught against me. Or else let these same here say, if they have found any evil doing in me while I stood before the council, except it be for this one voice that I cried standing among them, touching the resurrection of the dead, I am called in question by you this day. And when Felix heard these things, having perfect knowledge of that way, he deferred them and said, when Lysias, the chief captain, shall come down, I will know the uttermost of your matter. All right, so if you see Felix, you know, Felix, these Jewish people were in front of him accusing Paul. You know what I'm saying? May I dismiss you? May I dismiss you? Because right now, you all have laid your case in front of me. Paul has responded right here in front of me. And until now, I can't make a decision. I cannot see what it is that you all are accusing this man of. That is so egregious that you all are trying to unalive him. I don't see. So yeah, what? I'm going to wait till Lysias come. I'm going to talk with Lysias. And the Lysias was that same one they spoke about earlier, the Claudius Lysias. He said, I'm going to wait until Lysias come. Me and Lysias going to talk about it. And then I'll get back to you. But remember, all this time, these more than 40 Jews, them not eat or drink yet, Don't forget that. Hungry I walk through them belly are grumble and all these things because they haven't eaten. They're not eating in days now, because they have made this pact that they shall not eat until they have unalived Paul. All right, so let us continue. And for those of you who are just coming, we are on to the book of the Acts, chapter 24 and verse 23. And he, that is this he now is Felix, the governor Felix. And he commanded a centurion to keep Paul and to let him have liberty, and that he should forbid none of his acquaintances to minister or come unto him. Say, all right, you keep him safe for me. Now, make nothing happen to him, but no make none of him friend them come here. Him friend them, his friends were, fellow apostles and stuff. Yeah, no make none of him friend them or acquaintances come here for come, come visit him, come preach with him or anything like that. Just keep him safe until I get to speak with Claudius Lysias. And after certain days, when Felix came with his wife, Drusilla. What? Felix came with his wife Drusilla, which was a Jewess. He sent for Paul and heard him concerning the faith in Christ. And as he reasoned of righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come, Felix trembled and answered, Go thy way for this time. When I have a convenient season, I will call for thee. He hoped also that money should have been given him of Paul. Oh, he hopes Paul did pay him some money for what? That he might loose him. Wherefore he sent for him the oftener, and communed with him. But after 2 years, Porcius Festus came into Felix's room, and Felix, willing to show the Jews a pleasure, left Paul bound. Me not understand this. Me head a crutch me. Me not understand it. I'm going to read right yesterday again. Because I can't 2 years them Jews they still hungry. Still not eat or drink. Let me read this again. I'm going to read again from verse 24. So, follow me. Paul, welcome, my love. Come with me. Let's read again. Verse 24. And after certain days, when Felix came with his wife Drusilla, which was a Jewess, he sent for Paul and heard him concerning the faith in Christ. And as he reasoned of righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come, Felix trembled and answered, Go thy way for this time. When I have a convenient season, I will call for thee. He hoped also that money should have been given him of Paul, that he might lose him. So he hoped that he would have get some money, that Paul would have pay him, set him loose. Wherefore he sent for him the oftener and communed with him. But after 2 years, Porcius Festus came into Felix's room, and Felix, willing to show the Jews a pleasure, left Paul bound. Vaughn, bless up your nice clean self, Vaughn. How you doing? How are you doing? Good to see you, good to see you, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. We are Luxy, I'm still here. Yes, I would hope. I thank you. I thank you, my love. I appreciate you much. But how was a night now for you? No late hours a night now. All right, so let us continue. So he said in verse 27, after 2 years, Porcius Festus came into Felix's room, and Felix, willing to show the Jews a pleasure, left Paul bound. So in favor of the Jews, he left Paul bounded. So you tell me, say Paul was bounded, still in a prison for 2 years. But my things Felix, he tell him to go his way. Didn't he tell him to go his way? Or he changed his mind because he didn't get the money? Because he said he was hoping to get money for letting Paul loose. So since he left him bound, that means he didn't get the money, so he didn't let him loose, huh? That's my understanding. Because if 2 years. So for these 2 years now, this 40-odd men who took this pact, that they're not going to eat or drink until they have unalived Paul. Them people are supposed to dead already, right? Because you can't go 2 years without eating or drinking. Let us see what chapter 25 has in store for us. Let's see. You know, the Bible has a way sometimes of leaving us high and dry. Sometimes we read a story and the story just enwraps, and we don't really hear what happened after that. We don't know. We just left high and dry. I hope this is not the case. Because all of a sudden it just jump into 2 years. After 2 years, Porcius Festus came into Felix's room, and Felix, willing to show the Jews a pleasure, left Paul bound. That not leave you all wanting more of the story? But I know I've been left wanting more of the story, because that just come up rap so. But anyway, since we don't have it, we're going to continue reading. We might find a resolution in chapter 20, in chapter 25. So let us continue reading. Let us move right along. Now when Festus was come into the province, after 3 days he ascended from Caesarea to Jerusalem. Let us continue. Now when Festus was come into the province, after 3 days, he ascended from Caesarea to Jerusalem. Then the high priest and the chief of the Jews informed him against Paul and besought him and desired favor against him, that he would send for him to Jerusalem, laying wait in the way to kill him. Because, the Jews were still determined that they wanted to kill Paul. But them say after 2 years, the people who were in the original pact, unless there were people who were joining the pact as the people from the original pact were dying out, there is no way that those 40-something people who joined this original pact to not eat or drink until they had killed him would have been alive. There's no way they would have been alive until now. The desired favor against him, that he would send for him to Jerusalem, laying wait in the way to kill him. But Festus answered that Paul should be kept at Caesarea, and that he himself would depart shortly thither. Let them therefore, said he, which among you are able, go down with me, and accuse this man, if there be any wickedness in him. And when he had tarried among them for more than 10 days, he went down unto Caesarea, and the next day, sitting on the judgment seat, commanded Paul to be brought. And when he was come, the Jews which came down from Jerusalem stood round about, and laid many and grievous complaints against Paul, which they could not prove. And that's something. While he answered for himself, neither against the law of the Jews, neither against the temple, nor yet against Caesar have I offended anything at all. But Festus, willing to do the Jews a pleasure, answered Paul and said, Wilt thou go up to Jerusalem, and there be judged of these things before me? Why do you think that this old Festus here asks Paul to go up to Jerusalem? Why do you all think this old Festus here is asking Paul to go up to Jerusalem to be judged by him? If I'm right here in front of you and you're judging me, then judge me right here. Why you need me to leave from here to go up into Jerusalem for you to go judge me up there? That is because this Festus here, he wants Paul dead. He wants the Jews who have been laying in wait for Paul for all this time to finally lay their hands on him and slay him. That's why he's saying, come go to Jerusalem. Let me go up to Jerusalem. Come up to Jerusalem, come let me judge you up there. Because this Festus here knows that if Paul agrees to that, Paul not going to reach Jerusalem. He's going to be slain on the way. This Festus knows that. But let us continue. But Festus, willing to do the Jews a pleasure, answered Paul and said, Thou go up to Jerusalem, and there be judged of these things before me? Then Paul said, I stand at Caesar's judgment seat, where I ought to be judged. To the Jews have I done no wrong, as thou very well knowest. For if I be an offender, or have committed anything worthy of death, I refuse not to die. But if there be none of these things whereof thou accuse me, no man may deliver me unto them. I appeal unto Caesar. Then Festus, this Festus is really a Festus. What a name. He's really a Festus, ain't he? Then Festus, when he had conferred with the council, answered, Hast thou appealed unto Caesar, Unto Caesar shalt thou go. And after certain days, King Agrippa and Bernice came unto Caesarea to salute Festus. And when they had been there many days, Festus declared Paul's cause unto the king, saying, There is a certain man left in bonds by Felix, about whom, when I was at Jerusalem, the chief priests and the elders of the Jews informed me, desiring to have judgment against him. To whom I answered, It is not the manner of the Romans to deliver any man to die, before that he which is accused have the accusers face to face, and have license to answer for himself concerning the crime laid against him. Swift one. Good morning, my love. How are you doing? How are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you, my love. Happy Tuesday morning to you. Verse 17, Therefore, when they were come hither, without any delay on the morrow, I sat on the judgment seat, and commanded the man to be brought forth. Against whom, when the accusers stood up, they brought none accusation of such things as I supposed, but had certain questions against him of their own superstition, and of one Jesus, which was dead, whom Paul affirmed to be alive. So, so here comes, here Felix, I tell the he's telling them, see Paul, them bring this man in front of me. Them say he has been preaching all these things about somebody named Jesus. Him say Jesus is alive. He was dead, but him raised again. And they are saying a lima tell, not no gosso. So that is what the conflict is about. The conflict isn't about what I was expecting them to come with, some stronger evidence. I was expecting them to come with something more serious for which I could easily put him to death. But me not see why I'm do for me put him to death. So, see if you can listen to them and see if we are hearing the same thing. Let me continue. Let me read verse 18 again. Against whom, when the accusers stood up, they brought none accusation of such things as I supposed, but had certain questions against him of their own superstition, and of the one Jesus, which was dead, whom Paul affirmed to be alive. And because I doubted of such manner of questions, I asked him whether he would go to Jerusalem, and there be judged of these matters. But when Paul had appealed to be reserved unto the hearing of Augustus, I commanded him to be kept till I might send him to Caesar. Oh, that sounds like a lima tale, so. That sounds like a lima tale, not true? That not sound like a that's why I keep him. He not keep him till he got to Caesar. But let us continue. Then Agrippa said unto Festus, I would also hear the man myself. Tomorrow, he said, thou shalt hear him. And the next day, that was the morrow. And on the next day, when Agrippa was come, and Bernice, with great pomp, and was entered into the place of hearing, with the chief captains and principal men of the city, at Festus's commandment, Paul was brought forth. All right, so here comes Paul now in front of Agrippa and Bernice. Why the name them sound so? Yeah. So Agrippa say, you know something. Me want to hear what the man here say. What I'm have to say for himself. Me want to hear what I'm accusing this man of. Me want to hear. So on the next day, they brought Paul in front of Agrippa and Bernice. You still I wonder what happened to the people them who met the pact that they wasn't going to eat and drink till Paul is dead. 2 years later, this you know, and Paul not dead yet, you know. Okay, let us continue. Verse 24. And Festus said, King Agrippa, and all men which are here present with us, ye see this man any longer. Of course, I'm a Christ ain't ought not to live any longer, because he needs to die for them to start eating and drinking. They said he should not live any longer. But when I found that he had committed nothing worthy of death, and that he himself hath appealed to Augustus, I have determined to send him, of whom I have no certain thing to write unto my Lord. Wherefore I have brought him forth before you, and specially before you, O King Agrippa, that after examination had I brought, well, let me read this again. Of whom I have no certain thing to write unto my Lord. Wherefore I have brought him forth before you, and especially before thee, O King Agrippa, that after examination had I might have somewhat to write. Okay, so poor Festus. Festus said, well, they brought him to me, but I examined the situation. I see nothing that was worthy of death. They didn't present their case adequately for me to be convinced that he did anything that was worthy of death. Therefore, I did not order death. But I'm bringing him to you, O King Agrippa. You listen to him and you determine what it is that we are supposed to do with him. Because right now, I cannot even write something to say what is happening here, because what is happening here isn't even worthy going on paper. He said, O King Agrippa, that after examination I might have somewhat to write. So poor Festus don't understand what is going on, because the charges are so frivolous. The charges that they're trying to bring against Paul. So I don't know, this not bring up somebody about. Me not get it. Me not get it. And then he says, for it seems to me unreasonable to send a prisoner, and not withal to signify the crimes laid against him. You see, the man said, just seems unreasonable. It seems ridiculous that I'm going to say, crucify this man. I mean, unalive this man. Do whatever you all want to do with this man. And I don't have any just cause to call for the death of this man. Quite reasonable, right? Quite reasonable. That's right. That right there becomes the end of chapter 25. Guys, it's morning time. I would have loved to be able to read some more, but I'm not going to read no more. Tomorrow morning, we will read the last 3 chapters of the Acts, chapters 26, 27, and 28. Okay? So, guys, that right there is another part of the story of Paul. The same one who was Saul, who became Paul on his way to Damascus. He was struck with blindness. And he is the same one here who is being imprisoned because he is preaching the gospel of Jesus. Now, he is preaching that Jesus was dead and he was resurrected and he's now alive. And that is his preaching. And then there are the other Jews who are saying, no, the people who die cannot be alive. There's nothing called angels. There's nothing called spirit. they don't believe the same thing, and for them not to believe the same thing is causing such an uproar, because they think there are more people who are gravitating towards the teachings of Paul than there are people who are not. So the people who are not gravitating towards that kind of teaching, their high priests and governors feel threatened, because the people, Paul is able to convince all these people to follow his doctrine, this doctrine that he has now adopted from Jesus. So the struggle continues, the antagonism continues between the believers and the unbelievers. And it still does happen today, even until today. There are believers and there are unbelievers. And a lot of the believers, they will crucify you in a minute once you reveal that you are an unbeliever. And see here, these Jewish people have gone so far as to make a pact together to say we're not gonna eat or drink. That is some, as my friend Six Bow says, that is some serious pact for you to make. To say you are not going to eat or drink until a particular person is dead. It's 2 years. Paul is still in prison. And those people who have made that pact, what do you think happened to them? I'm sure they are not alive. If they kept up that oath, if they stuck to that oath, they are no longer alive. I'm sure they probably reneged on that oath. I can assure you that they reneged on that oath. And now all they are saying is we just want to lay our hands on him so that we can unalive him. Sister Winsome, I have been here all morning. I've been waiting for you. I made a pact with myself. I said I'm not getting off the live until Sister Winsome shows up. And here you are, Sister Winsome. I sincerely appreciate you. Good Tuesday morning to you, my friend. I'm glad you are here, my dear sister. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. You're just a coming some? I did a year long time. Cause me don't want you to miss out, We just finished reading the Acts chapters 23, 24, and the 25. So guys, that is where we are going to end the Bible reading for this morning. Thanks to everybody who came in, those of you on the talk, those of you on the tube who came in. I sincerely appreciate you all. Join me again tomorrow morning, same time, same place, same agenda, when I will be continuing with the reading of the Bible so that I can get an understanding of its contents. All right. That's going to be it from me for now, my friends. Until next time. This is Trev from Swift One. Rest yourself. Rest yourself, Swift One. Okay? All right? Yeah. That is where we are going to end this morning. That's going to be it from me this morning, my friends. Until next time. This is Trev from Trevessence, where your journey matters. All right? Have yourselves a great day, everybody. Swift One, bless up yourself. Bless up yourself. We will talk later, my dear. Have yourselves a great day, everybody. And I will see you all later.